Hey, what's up guys? In this video I'm going to show you some of the full collection of my piece pipes, or just want to call them pipe collection that I've made. I made a tutorial for this one here that you see here on the far left, well, my left. If you want to see that, the video will be linked on the video of how to, to make that style with the piece added on. In this video I want to go over some of these other ones that I've made that I didn't cover yet, that I've made in my collection that I didn't go over in my last video. Some of these were made differently than the others. They're not all finished at all, they're just at a certain point. This one is a fish pipe where you would mouthpieces in here. Hopefully you can see that. But yeah, I just put eyes on it for fish mouth. I could have went over with the Dremel, or not the Dremel, with the wood burner pull and added teeth on or added scales, but I did not do that for that one. These types of pipes, see there's one that's the same as this one here. It's made the same way, just not painted, except this one has a little bit more glue sticking out the sides of it. But for this one was done with just the Dremel and the drill. As you can see, I smoothed it out. Smooth this one out so that it's more of a nice, unique pipe shape. I've done the whole thing with the Dremel. Just keeps in and down to thin. I started at the tip, then I worked my way down to get the shape, and then I flattened the bottom with this Dremel. Dremel, if you don't know what a Dremel is, it's basically just a sander that, being that it's a small bit piece of sanders, sand the object quicker than what a big sander would. Say you're doing a window project or something of that nature. This long pipe here, I had it cut into two sections. But before I cut it, I used a stick that was, I used a branch that was that had an arm on it, and I cut it right where the arm was on the branch. Then I cut it down the middle, since seeing how long this is, it would be almost impossible for me to get the bit to go the whole way through. And well, first, before I get to that part, I want to tell you about this part here. I used the biggest drill bit I had to start this out, just enough to get a hole going, and then I rocked it back and forth a little bit, and then I finished it off using the Dremel and just went around into a circles motion until I got it to the bottom. And so like this one, I went a little far and I had to use a little bit of putty on the bottom. It should be alright once it's painted. For this middle section, what I did was I held it together with clamps with the glue. I put wood glue on it, held it together with the clamps, and then to make it more sturdy, I put on the inside here, there's actually toothpicks on the inside that help hold it together. I could have done it a different way, where taking the two pieces and drill individual holes that match and line up with each other. Add little pegs, like little dolls, on the insides after you drill those holes, and then just push them together. That's another way you could have done that. And to get this back to the same, about the same direction and size of this piece is I made pencil lines on each side so that I know where it matched up at whenever I first glued that together. Then for this here, I finished this up with, used 6 strings and braided those together to give it that look like it's, you know, an Indian type of smoke pipe. For this one, I made it to look like it's almost like a boot or like an old shoe. I use this one completely as a Dremel. I think this one was different of type of wood than what some of these other ones are. I'm not sure what type of wood they actually are because it was from a tree that I cut down like a year ago, and then one was parts of other branches and stuff that I've trimmed off of other trees. I think the other one tree I had was a pine tree, but I just used a Dremel, started from the tip, worked my way down, and then I used a Dremel on each side to give it like almost like how you would for a bowl for if you're smoking weed or whatever. Out of that, and then I just rounded it enough on the bottom, and I didn't flatten it like the other one. I flattened it here so that it could sit down and not fall over. For this one, I used just the drill bit to make this piece because I used up all my Dremel sander pieces and I can't seem to find any around my area unless I have to go out of my way to go get them. So I just used the drill and then, you know, back and forth. This one wasn't too, you know, detailed. I still got to paint these, of course, all yet. Like here's another. These two here were done with the drill as well. I used the biggest bit I had and just rocked the drill back and forth on the inside. I used the utility knife to cut this whole piece instead of using this Dremel piece like I did for these other ones, and then I just used the knife to keep scoring the piece to get it to where, you know, I could get it that kind of shape going. On the inside of this piece there, I burn treated it. That's what you want to do with all of your pieces. You want to burn treat them on the inside before you use them, because the small flakes of the wood can cause respiratory problems, which, you know, all other bowls such as smoke pipes for like you know, like grandfathers smoke out of, they're all burn treated and then treated with covered with a varnish to protect it, to protect your mouth from the impurities from the wood. You could always, you know, put a plastic piece on the inside of here, you know, to help for your, you know, mouth and whatnot. Somebody asked me in the last review, I think it was the review, I'm not sure, I think it might have been the tutorial itself, about, you know, the problems with wood, because the bark is kind of poisonous and it's not good to chew on the bark. Because I looked up a little bit of information just to, you know, be safe. This one also was done just with the drill, and I use a smaller drill to drill on the inside. Try not to get it this way too much because I didn't want to, you know, lose this piece here, and the rest was whittled out with the knife. I just kept scoring in the same area, try to get as much as I could, and I used the Dremel to sand it up here a bit, because I still have, you know, I used a smaller sandpaper size to do that in that area, so I'm not getting too much and causing like an indent in the wood, and here in the end just kind of whittle it away so that you get your mouthpiece. Once these are painted, I think they'll look pretty nice. I'll do each one, I think, differently than the other ones. This one, I think I'm still going to paint another coat of different kind of paint, and I will use that for the next video where I'm painting these, because it's going to be a different kind of paint aside from the acrylic paint that these are painted with. Because normally you would want to touch these up with polyacrylic to keep the color, from fading away, like this one. This one here has a little bit of specks. Well, I doubt you can see it, but there's a few specks of the paint starting to come off. I was going to do some wood burning for one of these in a video, so you can see how to use the different size pieces of what you would put on your wood burner. But that would be a lengthy video because I would have to constantly take the bit pieces out. After it cools down, I'd unplug the machine and let it cool down and put the next piece on and do it again, because it's a lengthy process. That's what you want to keep doing if you want to get different designs, notches. You don't want to keep using the same wood burn piece. You want to use different sizes. You might want to work it out and test if it's your first time doing this type of art, is to test it on a piece of wood first before you try it on whatever you're working with. You go about doing out your designs so you'll have less flaws. And of course this one's different. This one's stained like I did in the other review video. So if you have any questions, let me know. Feel free to answer them for you. There will be another video for me painting some of these. And thanks for watching. Just make sure if you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll answer them to the best of my knowledge.